My girlfriend taunted, "What's wrong, scared of a little competition?" about her touchy new coworker. I said, "Competition? This isn't a game." She realized it wasn't when HR called them both in. I'd sent the security footage of their friendly hugs to corporate. They both got fired. I, 28 male, am sitting here with a beer, still processing everything that went down over the past month. My now ex-girlfriend, Tessa, 26, learned the hard way that some games aren't worth playing. We'd been together for 3 years, living together for 1. Both worked at the same massive tech company but different departments. Me in IT infrastructure, her in marketing. Never had issues with workplace boundaries before. That changed when Dimitri, 31, joined her team 2 months ago. Started innocently enough. Tessa mentioned the new guy was super friendly and really knows his stuff. Cool, whatever. Then came the stories about how he'd bring her coffee every morning, knew exactly how she liked it, how he'd stay late to help her with projects, how he was just a touchy person who gave great shoulder massages when she was stressed. The first time I raised an eyebrow, she laughed it off. "Babe, he's like that with everyone. Very European, you know?" Dimitri was from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Apparently this explained everything. But when I asked if he gave shoulder massages to Brad from accounting, she got defensive. Things escalated when she started coming home later, always with stories about Dimitri. How funny he was, how he understood marketing in ways others didn't, how his ideas were revolutionary. I'm not the jealous type, but something felt off. The tipping point came 3 weeks ago. We were having dinner when she casually mentioned Dimitri had asked her to a marketing conference next month. Just the two of them. Company would cover hotel rooms. When I said that seemed inappropriate, she rolled her eyes. "God, Mason, what's wrong? Scared of a little competition?" She actually smirked when she said it. I set down my fork. "Competition? This isn't a game, Tessa." "Everything's a competition, babe. That's how the world works. Dimitri gets that. He's going places." She took a sip of wine. "Maybe you should be taking notes instead of getting all insecure." "I'm not insecure. I'm pointing out your coworker is crossing professional boundaries." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Professional boundaries? We work in tech, not a bank. Loosen up." Besides, she leaned back, "Competition keeps relationships fresh. Maybe if you were less predictable, I wouldn't enjoy the attention." That stung. But what really got me was the look in her eyes. Like she was enjoying this. Like watching me squirm was entertainment. So this is what, some kind of test? Life's a test, Mason. Dimitri makes my work days interesting. He challenges me. When's the last time you surprised me with anything? I slept on the couch that night. Not because she kicked me out, because I needed to think. See, what Tessa didn't know was that I had way more access to company systems than the average employee. Perks of being IT infrastructure, including access to security footage from all common areas and open office spaces. I'd never abused that access before, but her competition comment kept echoing. If she wanted to play games, maybe it was time to check the scoreboard. Update 1, holy hell. So I did it. Logged into the security system yesterday morning. Told myself I was just going to glance, just to ease my mind. What I found was illuminating. The morning coffee ritual? Yeah. Dimitri brought her coffee. But the footage showed him arriving 45 minutes early every day just to be there when she walked in. He'd literally wait by the elevator. Creepy, but not damning. The shoulder massages? Way more than occasional. I found at least 12 instances over 2 weeks. And they weren't quick, "Hey, your shoulders look tense" things. We're talking 5 to 10-minute sessions. His hands sliding down her arms, her leaning back into him. In one, she actually closed her eyes and bit her lip. But the real kicker was from last Thursday. End of day, most people gone. They were in the small kitchen area. He had her backed against the counter, one hand on her waist, the other playing with her hair. She was giggling, doing that thing where she touches someone's chest while laughing. Then he leaned in, whispered something, and she gave him this look. The same look she used to give me when we first started dating. They didn't kiss. But her hand stayed on his chest for way too long, and when they finally separated, she adjusted her skirt and smoothed her hair in that telling way. I saved everything. HD quality. Timestamps visible. That evening, Tessa came home giddy. "Dimitri got approval for the conference. It's gonna be amazing." 3 days in the city, all expenses paid. The hotel has a spa. That's nice, I said, not looking up from my laptop. She frowned. That's it? No jealous boyfriend routine? You said competition keeps things fresh. I'm just giving you space to compete. Her frown deepened. You're being weird. Am I? Or am I being less predictable? She didn't like that. Started asking what was wrong with me, why I was acting cold. I just shrugged and said I had work to do. The confusion on her face was, honestly, kind of satisfying. But here's where it gets interesting. Today at work, I needed to verify something in the security footage. Legal reasons, if I was going to do anything with it, needed to make sure I hadn't violated any policies. Turns out, all common areas are fair game. It's in the employee handbook everyone signs. Cameras are clearly marked. No expectation of privacy. While reviewing more footage, I found something else. 2 weeks ago, late Friday, the office was empty except for them. They were in her department's area, and, well, let's just say what I saw would definitely interest HR. His hands were places they shouldn't be, and she was definitely not discouraging it. They moved out of camera range for about 20 minutes, then reappeared with messy hair and readjusted clothing. So now I'm sitting here with a flash drive full of evidence. Part of me wants to confront her. Part of me remembers her smirk, her competition comment, her enjoyment of my discomfort. Competition, huh? Okay, game on. Update 2. The last week has been intense. After my last post, I decided to play the long game. Saved all the footage to multiple backups, organized by date and time. But I didn't act immediately. Instead, I became the boyfriend Tessa claimed she wanted. Unpredictable. Started going to the gym at weird hours. Picked up extra shifts. When she'd text asking where I was, I'd give vague responses. Out. Busy. In a meeting. The same energy she'd been giving me about Dimitri reflected back. It drove her crazy. Suddenly, she was all over me. Cooking dinner, suggesting date nights, being extra affectionate, even bought lingerie. But she didn't stop the thing with Dimitri. If anything, it escalated. See, I kept monitoring, not obsessively, just checking key times. And boy, did they get bolder. Daily lunch meetings that were clearly not about marketing strategies. More kitchen encounters. Once, I caught them making out in the stairwell. Full-on teenager-style groping. The universe handed me a gift last Tuesday. I was in the server room when I overheard 2 executives talking about visiting our floor for a culture walk. Basically, surprise inspections to see how departments operate. They mentioned being particularly interested in marketing's new strategies. That's when I decided to pull the trigger. Wednesday morning, I compiled everything. 2 months of footage showing progressive boundary crossing, culminating in that stairwell makeout session from Monday. I anonymous USB'd it to corporate HR with a note. Concerned employee, this is happening daily in marketing. Both parties are creating a hostile work environment for others. Then I waited. Thursday was normal. Tessa came home talking about some presentation Dimitri killed. How innovative he was. I just nodded and smiled. Friday morning, everything exploded. Got a text from Tessa at 10 a.m. WTF? HR just pulled me and Dimitri into separate meetings? Someone reported us for inappropriate conduct? Me. That's weird. What kind of conduct? Her IDK, but they're being super serious. Dimitri's freaking out. I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. This is BS. Probably some jealous cow from accounting. Radio silence for 3 hours. Then her OMG, they have video from the security cameras, multiple videos. Videos of what? You know what? This is probably your fault somehow. You work in IT. Did you say something? Me. I work in infrastructure, not security. And say something about what? I don't even know what you allegedly or don't play dumb, Mason. I thought you liked games? Competition? This isn't funny. They're talking about termination. Termination. For what? Must be pretty serious if they're considering firing you. The shoulder massages, the hugs, they're calling it inappropriate physical contact in the workplace and creating a hostile environment. Me. Just shoulder massages and hugs? Silence. Then they might have seen us in the stairwell. Doing what in the stairwell? Her talking. We must have been some conversation. I'm coming home, we need to talk. She burst through the door at 2 p.m., mascara streaked, absolutely furious. This is you. I know this is you. You did something. I was sitting on the couch, calm as could be. Did what? You still haven't told me what they saw. Don't play games. I thought you loved games. Competition, remember? She actually screamed in frustration. This isn't a game. My job is on the line. Neither was our relationship, but you turned it into one. That stopped her cold. What? I stood up. What's wrong, Tessa? Scared of a little competition? Dimitri challenged you, right? Made things interesting? Well, congratulations. You competed. How's that working out? You vindictive piece of shit. You spied on me. The cameras are in plain sight. It's in the handbook. No expectation of privacy in common areas. I grabbed my pre-packed bag. By the way, I'll be staying at Jake's for a while. Good luck with HR. As I headed for the door, she grabbed my arm. Wait, they want me to make a statement. If I say it was all Dimitri, that he was harassing me, maybe? I shook her off. Wow, ready to throw him under the bus already? What happened to revolutionary Dimitri who understands marketing? Your competition? This is my career. Should have thought of that before making out with him in the stairwell at work. Her face went white. How did you? Doesn't matter. What matters is HR has the footage. Multiple incidents over weeks. Pretty hard to claim harassment when you're actively participating. I left her standing there and haven't been back to the apartment since. Final update. Well, it's over. Both the relationship and their careers at the company. The HR investigation was swift and brutal. Turns out when corporate gets involved, they don't mess around. They interviewed everyone in marketing, and surprise, surprise, people had noticed. Several coworkers came forward about feeling uncomfortable with Tessa and Dimitri's behavior. One intern said she actively avoided the kitchen when they were there because it felt like walking in on foreplay. Tessa tried everything. First, she went with the harassment angle, but the footage showed her as an eager participant. Then, she tried to minimize it, just friendly coworker stuff blown out of proportion. HR wasn't buying it. The stairwell footage was apparently the nail in the coffin. Hard to explain away full contact grinding as a European greeting. Dimitri, for his part, tried to throw her under the bus right back. Claimed she pursued him, that he was just trying to fit into American workplace culture. That went over about as well as you'd expect when they showed him the footage of him waiting by the elevator every morning like a creeper. They were both terminated with cause last Monday. No severance, no references, and good luck explaining to future employers why you got fired from a major tech company. Tessa blew up my phone. Over 200 texts ranging from, "Please talk to me, I made a mistake, it wasn't what it looked like. You destroyed my life over petty jealousy. I'll sue you for this. Please, I need you. You're a controlling psycho. I'm sorry, please come home. I hate you. Can we at least talk about the apartment?" That last one I did respond to. Told her she had 30 days to find a new place. Lease is in my name only, thankfully. She could stay while I'm at Jake's, but I'd be back end of month and expected her gone. The response was unhinged. Apparently, without her marketing salary, she can't afford anywhere decent. Dimitri won't return her calls. Shocker, the revolutionary genius disappeared when consequences arrived. Her friends are being weird, probably because they heard what happened. Her parents are disappointed, and somehow this is all my fault. Got one last text yesterday. "I hope you're happy. You won. Your competition is over." I responded, "There was never any competition. There was a relationship with boundaries and expectations. You decided those were negotiable. They weren't." Blocked her after that. Funny thing about trash taking itself out, once you see it clearly, you realize the smell was there all along. I kept blaming myself, thinking I was being jealous or insecure. But watching her these past weeks, the manipulation attempts, the refusal to take any responsibility, I dodged a bullet. A 3-year bullet, but still. Found out from a coworker that Dimitri's wife, yeah, he was married, that came out during the investigation, flew in from their home state, and apparently the scene in the parking lot was epic. Tessa gets to add homewrecker to her resume now. As for me, I'm good. Better than good. Jake's been a solid friend, found a nice 1-bedroom that's actually closer to work. Been hitting the gym regularly at normal hours now. Even got a promotion. Turns out when you're not stressed about your girlfriend's competition, you can focus on actual work. The apartment's mine again at month's end, planning to get a dog, maybe a German Shepherd. Something loyal that doesn't need to make everything a competition. To anyone reading this, Dealing with similar BS? Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And if someone tells you they need competition to keep things interesting, let them compete in the unemployment line. Game over.
Your truck is embarrassing. My new man has a real car. My cheating wife mocked me while taking my credit cards. I just nodded and made one phone call. Now she's forced to live in her car. Initial post I, 36M, didn't discover my wife Tara's 34F betrayal through texts or lipstick on collars. It was through our smart doorbell of all things. For context, I work at a fleet maintenance company as a heavy diesel mechanic, specializing in trucks and commercial vehicles. I make good money, enough that we bought a decent house in a nice neighborhood 3 years ago. I drive a 2014 F-250 that's perfect for my job, hauling equipment and weekend projects. It's not fancy, but it's practical and paid off. Tara works in pharmaceutical sales and has always been image conscious. When we met 7 years ago, she seemed to find my blue-collar work charming and authentic. Her words, not mine. Last month, I was away at a 3-day certification course. On day 2, I got a notification from our doorbell camera. It was 11:43 p.m., so I checked it immediately, thinking it might be an emergency. It was Tara coming home with a guy in a tailored suit. They were laughing, obviously drunk. As he helped her find her keys, she said something that stopped me cold. God, it feels good to be with a real man who drives a real car. My husband's truck is so embarrassing. The neighbors probably think we're rednecks. The guy, who I'd later learn was Elliot, her regional manager, laughed and said, "Well, at least the truck matches his job. Grease Monkey needs a monkey mobile." They both cracked up at that. Then Tara said, "Don't worry, I've been using his credit cards to build my escape fund. Another 2 months and I'll have enough to leave his ass and get my own place closer to the office. Then we won't have to hide anymore." They kissed right there on my porch before heading inside my house. I watched the whole thing 3 times, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 5. I thought we were happy. Sure, we had the occasional argument about money. I'm more frugal, she likes nice things. But nothing that explained this. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I called in sick to the final day of my certification, I can complete it later, and drove the 4 hours home. But not before making one very important phone call to my cousin, who happens to be a financial advisor. When I pulled into our driveway at 2 p.m., Elliot's shiny Audi was parked in my spot. I parked my embarrassing truck right behind it, blocking him in. The look on their faces when I walked in was almost worth the heartbreak. They were having lunch at our dining table, the one my grandfather made by hand, drinking the expensive wine I'd been saving for our anniversary. "You're supposed to be at your course," Tara said, not even bothering to act surprised or guilty. Elliot stood up, straightening his designer tie. "I should go." "Good luck with that," I said, tossing my keys on the counter. "My embarrassing truck is blocking your real car." Tara's face went pale. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and played the doorbell video from the night before. The color drained from her face as she heard her own voice mocking me, revealing her plans. "The doorbell," she whispered. "I forgot about the stupid doorbell." Elliot grabbed his jacket. "Tara, handle this. Call me when he's gone." I laughed. "When I'm gone? This is my house. My name's on the mortgage. And FYI, genius, her name isn't on a single financial account. I checked." This was technically true. While we had joint accounts when we first got married, Tara had complained about my financial controlling to her family so much that I'd suggested separate accounts 2 years ago to keep the peace. Best decision ever in retrospect. Tara found her voice. "You can't just throw me out. I'm your wife. I'm entitled to half of everything." "Including the credit card debt you've been racking up?" I asked calmly. "Because that one call I made this morning was to freeze all the cards and request detailed statements for the past 6 months. Should be interesting reading." Elliot looked at Tara. "You said you were using your own money." Tara ignored him. "I need those cards. I have expenses." "Like hotel rooms with Elliot?" Dinners at places I've never been? Designer clothes I've never seen you wear? I was still eerily calm. The shock was keeping me numb. Elliot's phone buzzed. He checked it and frowned. I have to get back to the office. Move your truck. Sure thing, I said. As soon as Tara packs an overnight bag and leaves with you. What? They both said in unison. I'm changing the locks in an hour. Tara can come back with a police escort this weekend to get the rest of her stuff. Until then, I need space in my house that I pay for. Tara started crying, those practiced tears that never quite reached her eyes. You can't do this. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Elliot drives a real car. I'm sure he has a real apartment to match. Or maybe your parents can take you in. Either way, not my problem anymore. The next hour was a blur of screaming, threats, and finally, reluctant packing. Elliot kept checking his watch, clearly regretting his life choices. When Tara had stuffed a suitcase with as many designer clothes as she could fit, I moved my truck. As they pulled away in his Audi, I made my second important call of the day, to a locksmith. More updates to come. This is just the beginning. Update 1. 1 week later. Things have escalated quickly since my last post. The locksmith came within the hour. He was a gruff older guy who verified my ID matched the name on the utility bills and mortgage statement I showed him, then got to work. By dinner time, I had new locks, a new security code, and had changed all my passwords. That night, I went through our financial records with a fine-tooth comb. What I found made me physically sick. Over the past 8 months, Tara had opened 3 credit cards in my name, identity theft anyone? Racked up over $35,000 in charges, made minimum payments from our joint savings account, which I'd been contributing to for a house renovation, purchased a $7,200 Cartier watch for Elliot's birthday, labeled as Mom's medical expenses in our budget app. I documented everything, then took all the evidence to the police the next morning to file a report for identity theft and fraud. The officer was sympathetic but warned me it would be complicated given our marital status. Still, the report was filed. Then came the barrage. First, Tara's mother called, screaming that I was an abusive monster for throwing her baby out on the street. I let her rant, then calmly played the doorbell video over the phone. The silence afterward was deafening. I'll call you back, she finally said, and hung up. Next was Elliot's wife. Yes, wife. Turns out Mr. Real Car with a real job also had a very real marriage he'd neglected to mention to Tara. She'd found my number on their phone bill and wanted answers. I gave her copies of everything, including the doorbell video. She was devastated but grateful. He told me he was working late all those nights, she said tearfully. We have 3 kids. That afternoon, my lawyer served Tara with divorce papers at her parents' house, where she'd apparently been staying after Elliot's wife confronted him. The papers included evidence of identity theft and financial fraud, a restraining order preventing her from entering our home unsupervised, a detailed accounting of all marital assets and debts, with the fraudulent charges highlighted. 2 days later, Tara showed up at my workplace with her father. She caused a scene in front of my colleagues, screaming that I was trying to leave her with nothing and that I owed her for the years she wasted with me. My boss, who has known me for over a decade, calmly asked them to leave or he'd call the police. As security escorted them out, Tara shouted, "Enjoy your pathetic truck and your pathetic job. I was too good for you anyway." Her father looked mortified. That evening, I received a series of increasingly desperate texts from Tara. Please call off the fraud investigation. They're talking about pressing charges. I didn't mean to take that much money. I just needed some independence. Elliot dumped me. His wife took the kids and the house. My parents are making me pay rent. Can you believe that? Can I please just come home? We can work this out. I didn't respond to any of them. Yesterday, I had the most interesting visitor, Elliot's wife, Rachel. She brought coffee and asked if we could talk. She'd filed for divorce and wanted to compare notes to make sure neither of us got screwed over in the process. We ended up talking for 3 hours, mostly about the pain of betrayal and the struggle to make sense of it all. "Nice truck, by the way," she said as she was leaving. "My dad was a mechanic. He always said you can tell a lot about a person by how they maintain their vehicle." This morning, Tara's lawyer called mine. Apparently, she wants to settle quickly and quietly. My lawyer thinks the fraud charges have her spooked, as they should. The detective handling the case called yesterday to say they're building a solid case. I'll update again after the settlement meeting next week. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. Update 2. The settlement meeting and surprises. The settlement meeting was scheduled at my lawyer's office. I arrived early, my stomach in knots despite knowing I had the upper hand legally. What I didn't expect was to find Tara already there, looking nothing like the polished, confident woman I'd married to. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, her designer clothes replaced by jeans and a plain sweater. The dark circles under her eyes suggested she hadn't been sleeping well. As soon as she saw me, she tried to approach, but my lawyer smoothly intervened, directing me to our side of the conference table. Tara's attorney, a stern woman with a no-nonsense demeanor, gave me a curt nod. Before we could begin, Tara's phone rang. She glanced at it, grimaced, and silenced it. This happened 3 more times during the first 30 minutes of the meeting. Each time, her face grew more anxious. The settlement discussions were surprisingly straightforward. Given the evidence of financial fraud and identity theft, Tara's position was weak. Her lawyer knew it and had apparently advised Tara to accept a settlement that was more than fair. I would keep the house and my retirement accounts. She would keep her personal belongings, and we agreed she would continue making payments on her leased Lexus that I had been covering. We would split the legitimate marital debt 50-50, but she would assume 100% responsibility for the fraudulent credit card charges. Just as we were wrapping up, Tara's phone rang again. This time she excused herself to take the call. Through the glass wall of the conference room, I could see her face crumble as she listened to whoever was on the other end. When she returned, she was visibly shaken. "Can we take a short break?" her lawyer requested. During the break, I overheard snippets of an intense conversation between Tara and her attorney. "Repossessed this morning. Missed 3 payments. Credit score is tanked. Need a co-signer." When we reconvened, Tara looked defeated. She signed the settlement agreement without further negotiation. As we were gathering our papers to leave, she asked if she could speak to me privately. Against my better judgment, I agreed, with our lawyers waiting just outside. "They're threatening to take my car," she said, her voice small. "The leasing company called during our meeting. Apparently the last 3 payments bounced." I said nothing, waiting for her to continue. Elliot had promised to help with the payments after everything happened, but he ghosted me completely. His wife took him for everything in their divorce. "That's unfortunate," I said neutrally. "I need a favor," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Just a small loan until I get back on my feet. Just enough for a down payment on a used car. I can't get to work without one." "What happened to your escape fund?" I asked. "The one you were building with my credit cards?" She flinched. "I had to use it for legal fees and to pay my parents back for letting me stay with them." "And where are you staying now?" I was curious despite myself. "A coworker's couch," she admitted, "but she wants me out by the end of the month." I thought about it for a moment. Part of me wanted to tell her exactly where she could go, but another part, the part that remembered the good times before everything fell apart, felt a twinge of pity. "I have a better idea," I finally said. "I know someone selling a car. It's not fancy, but it runs well and it's cheap. No loan needed." Her eyes lit up with hope. "Really? That would be... Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," I said. "It's not a gift. You'll work it off." "Work it off? How?" I explained that a buddy of mine owned a small cleaning company that needed part-time help on weekends. The pay wasn't great, but it was something. And after 6 months of consistent work, the car would be hers free and clear. "A cleaning company?" she repeated, her voice tinged with disgust. You want me to be a maid? And just like that, any remaining sympathy I had evaporated. No, Tara, I don't want you to be anything. I was trying to help, but clearly some jobs are beneath the woman who mocked her husband's truck and career while stealing from him. I stood up to leave, but she grabbed my arm. Wait, I'm sorry. I'll take it. The job, the car, whatever. I'm desperate. That's not my problem anymore, I said, removing her hand from my arm. Good luck with everything. As I walked out, my lawyer gave me an approving nod. Tara's attorney just looked tired. Later that day, I got a call from the detective handling the fraud case. Despite the divorce settlement, the DA was moving forward with charges. The investigation revealed she had used the fraudulent cards during our trips to neighboring states, which bumped it to federal charges. Tara would be arrested the following morning. I felt strangely empty at the news. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was simply justice running its course. That evening I got a text from Rachel, Elliot's ex-wife. Heard the news? How are you holding up? We made plans to meet for coffee that weekend. More updates soon. Final update. 6 months later. It's been just over a year since my world turned upside down, and I think it's time for a final update. Tara pled guilty to reduced charges of credit card fraud and identity theft. She got 3 years of probation, mandatory financial counseling, and 500 hours of community service. As part of her plea deal, the court formally ordered the restitution payments we had already agreed to in our settlement, plus additional interest and fees. The irony? Her community service assignment is picking up trash along the highway, often in the same areas where I drive my truck for work. Sometimes I see her in that bright orange vest, and it's hard to reconcile that person with the woman who once sneered at my embarrassing vehicle. After her arrest made the local news, Tara lost her pharmaceutical sales job. Turns out companies don't like having felons representing their brand to doctors. She tried to find similar work but kept running into the same problem. Her crime was financial fraud, and sales jobs require handling company funds and expense accounts. Last I heard, she's working as a server at a diner on the edge of town. She's living in a studio apartment that her parents help subsidize. The court garnishes 25% of her wages for restitution payments to me, which will continue for approximately the next 8 years. Her parents, who initially treated me like I was the villain, have come around. Her father actually called to apologize. We raised her better than this, he said gruffly. Always gave her everything she wanted. Maybe that was the problem. As for me, life has taken some unexpected turns. The fleet maintenance company I worked for offered me a partnership track after our biggest client specifically requested me as their account manager. My boss later told me they were impressed by my professionalism during the whole divorce drama. I'm still in our house, though it feels different now. I've remodeled the kitchen, something Tara always wanted but we could never afford, while she was secretly spending thousands on her affair. The most surprising development has been my relationship with Rachel, Elliot's ex-wife. What started as mutual support through similar trauma has grown into something more. We've been dating for 4 months now. She's a kindergarten teacher with a wicked sense of humor and 3 amazing kids who think my truck is the coolest thing ever. I've been teaching her 12-year-old son basic mechanics on the weekends. Last month I ran into Elliot at a gas station. He was driving a used Hyundai instead of his precious Audi. Apparently Rachel got that in their divorce. He couldn't meet my eyes and quickly paid for his gas and left. 2 weeks ago, I was at the diner where Tara works. I didn't know she worked there. I was meeting a client who suggested the place. When she saw me walk in with my client and realized she would have to serve us, her face went through about 5 different emotions in 3 seconds. To her credit, she handled it professionally. She called me sir, took our orders without commentary, and kept our coffee cups filled. My client had no idea about our history. As we were paying, Tara finally spoke directly to me. "The truck looks good. New paint job?" "Just a good detail and wax," I replied. "Takes maintenance to keep things running, right?" She nodded, understanding the double meaning. I'm learning that the hard way. When I left, I tipped her generously, not out of pity, but because the service was good and everyone deserves fair compensation for honest work. Yesterday, my lawyer forwarded me documents from the court case. Tara had petitioned to reduce her restitution payments, claiming financial hardship. The judge denied her request, citing her pattern of prioritizing luxury over responsibility. Rachel asked me if I felt vindicated by how everything turned out. I had to think about it. It's not about winning, I finally said. It's about consequences. Tara chose to mock me, cheat on me, and steal from me instead of either working on our marriage or leaving honestly. Now she's living with the results of those choices. As I write this final update, I'm sitting in my garage, working on a vintage motorcycle that Rachel's father left her when he passed. My embarrassing truck is parked next to it, recently serviced and running perfectly. Out the window, I can see Rachel and her kids playing in the backyard that Tara always complained was too small for entertaining. Tara wanted a man with a real car. Now she drives a weathered Honda Civic between her tiny apartment, the diner, and her community service assignments. Her Instagram, which a mutual friend still follows, has gone from designer outfits and expensive restaurants to inspirational quotes about rebuilding and finding strength. As for me, I'm exactly who I've always been, a mechanic who drives a truck, lives within his means, and values honesty above appearances. The difference is now everyone else can see the value in that too. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anything you do. It's simply removing yourself from the equation and letting natural consequences take their course.
She threw out all my steaks and said, "This is a vegan household now." I just nodded. The next day, I hosted a full meat BQ for our parents. She didn't say a word as the smoke rolled in. I, 28 male, came home from work Tuesday to find my girlfriend Melody, 26, standing in our kitchen with this triumphant look on her face. Behind her, our trash can was overflowing with white butcher paper and plastic wrap. The smell hit me immediately. Raw meat. "What happened?" I asked, already knowing but needing to hear it. "I've made a decision," she announced, hands on her hips. "This is a vegan household now. I threw out all the meat, every last bit." I just stood there, processing. We'd been together 3 years, living together for 1. She'd been vegetarian when we met, which was fine. I respected it, made sure we had separate pans, always cooked her meals first to avoid cross-contamination. But vegan? And throwing out my food? That was about $300 worth of meat, I said quietly. I'd just done a Costco run on Sunday, premium steaks for a work dinner I was planning, chicken breasts, ground beef, bacon. All of it. "Money spent on murder," she said, lifting her chin. "I watched this documentary last night and I can't be complicit anymore. I can't live with death in my refrigerator." Here's the thing. It wasn't even her refrigerator. The house was mine, inherited from my grandmother 2 years ago. Melody moved in 8 months ago and pays me $400 a month, way below market rate. I'd offered it as a favor since she was struggling with student loans. I could have argued, could have pointed out she had no right, could have reminded her whose house it was. Instead, I just nodded. "Okay," I said. She blinked, clearly expecting a fight. "Okay?" "Yeah, okay." The relief on her face was almost comical. She launched into this speech about how proud she was of me, how she'd already bought a bunch of vegan groceries, how this was going to be so good for my health. I let her talk, nodded in the right places, even helped her put away the almond milk and tempeh. That night, she made us dinner. Some quinoa Buddha bowl thing. It was actually pretty good. We ate in front of the TV like normal. She kept shooting me these happy little glances, probably amazed at how well I was taking it. Wednesday morning, I called my parents. "Hey Mom, you and Dad free tomorrow night? Thinking of having a barbecue." "Oh, that sounds lovely. What's the occasion?" "Just felt like grilling. Maybe invite Uncle Tony and Aunt Beth too, and tell Dad to bring his smoker. I'm thinking brisket." See, the thing Melody didn't know was that my family was supposed to come over next week for dinner. I'd been planning to cook for them. Now I just moved it up a few days, and maybe expanded the menu a little. Thursday came. I took a half day off work, hit up the butcher shop on the way home. If she wanted to throw away $300 of meat, I'd buy $500 more. Ribeyes, porterhouse, lamb chops, Italian sausages, baby back ribs. The butcher, who knew me by name at this point, raised an eyebrow at the haul. "Having a party?" "Something like that." I also stopped by the store for sides, coleslaw, potato salad, mac and cheese, all the non-vegan classics, even grabbed a cheesecake for dessert. Got home around 2 p.m. Melody's car wasn't there. She worked as a graphic designer and usually didn't get home until 6. Perfect. I fired up the grill, seasoned the steaks, got the ribs going in the oven. By 4 p.m., the whole backyard smelled like a steakhouse. That's when I heard her car pull up. Early, she came through the back gate and just stopped, stared at the grill, at the cooler full of meat, at me in my grill master apron, a Father's Day gift from my dad. "What is this?" Her voice was deadly quiet. "Barbecue," I said, flipping a steak. "Parents are coming over. Want me to throw on a veggie burger for you? We talked about this. This is a vegan household now." "No," I corrected, still calm. "You talked. You made a unilateral decision about my house and my food. I just didn't argue." "But you said okay." "I did, and I am okay with you being vegan, in my house that I let you live in for less than half of market rent, but I'm not vegan, and this is my house." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "This is about revenge. You're being petty." "Nope, this is about dinner. My family's coming over. I'm cooking." Right on cue, my parents pulled up. My dad hauling his massive smoker, my mom carrying what was definitely her famous bacon-wrapped jalapeno poppers. Behind them, Uncle Tony's truck with more family. The smell of smoking meat was rolling across the yard like a fog. Melody stood there, fists clenched, watching my family pour into the backyard with coolers and covered dishes. Nobody had told them about her new dietary restrictions, so they'd brought all their usual stuff. Mom's cream cheese stuffed mushrooms, wrapped in bacon. Aunt Beth's loaded baked potato salad. Uncle Tony's venison jerky. "Melody," Mom called out. "So good to see you. I brought those poppers you loved at Christmas." Melody's face went through about 6 different emotions before settling on forced smile. "Thanks, but I'm actually vegan now." "Oh." Mom looked at the bacon-wrapped tray in her hands. "Since when?" "Since Tuesday." Dad, who was already investigating my meat selection, looked up. "Tuesday? As in 2 days ago?" "Yes." He shrugged and went back to admiring the ribeyes. "Good for you. More for us then." The next 3 hours were the longest barbecue of my life. Melody sat on the porch, sipping water while the smoke from various meats wafted around her. She didn't say a word, not when Uncle Tony told his hunting stories. Not when Dad explained his new dry rub technique in excruciating detail. Not even when my cousin showed up with a whole roasted pig he'd been making for another event and had leftovers from. The family noticed the tension, but nobody said anything directly. They just kept offering her sides she could eat, until she pointed out the coleslaw had mayo and the potato salad had bacon. After that, they stopped offering. Around 8 p.m. people started leaving, lots of backslapping and promises to do this again soon. Mom hugged me extra long and whispered, "Everything okay?" "It will be," I told her. After everyone left, I cleaned up in silence. Melody had disappeared inside. I found her in the bedroom, packing a bag. "I'm gonna stay with my sister," she announced. "Okay? That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Mel? You threw out $300 of my food. You made a decision about my house without discussing it with me. You expected me to just fall in line. I don't think there's much to say. I'm trying to save animals, and that's admirable, but you can't force me to do it with you." She zipped up her bag. "This isn't over." It wasn't. Update 1. So Melody has been at her sister's since Thursday night. I figured she'd cool off, we'd talk like adults, maybe find a compromise. I was wrong. Saturday morning, 7 a.m., I get a knock on my door, not the doorbell, aggressive knocking. I stumble to the door in my boxers, and there's a locksmith van in my driveway. "You the homeowner?" the guy asks. "Yeah." "Lady called, said she's locked out, needs the locks changed, showed me proof of residence and everything." I look past him and see Melody sitting in her car watching. The locksmith is holding some papers. I recognize them as utility bills. The ones with her name on them, because I'd let her put the internet and electric in her name to help build her credit. "Listen, man," I said. "I appreciate you coming out, but this is my house, just mine. She's a tenant who pays rent. She showed me mail with her name and this address. She lives here, yeah, as a renter, but she can't authorize lock changes on a house she doesn't own." I grabbed my phone. "Want to see the deed? Property tax statements? They're all in my name only." The locksmith looked uncomfortable. He glanced back at Melody, then at me. You know what, I'm gonna need to see some ownership documents before I proceed. I showed him everything on my phone. County records, deed, tax statements, all showing sole ownership. He nodded, walked back to Melody's car. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I saw her gesturing wildly. The locksmith just kept shaking his head. Finally, he got in his van and left. Melody peeled out right after him. 20 minutes later, I'm getting ready for my run when my phone starts blowing up. Text after text. You're really going to be this petty? I have belongings in that house. I have rights as a tenant. You can't just lock me out. I've been paying rent, I responded once. You left voluntarily. You still have a key, I haven't locked you out. I'm not coming back to a house full of meat smell. You need to air it out and deep clean everything. And get rid of all the animal products. Then we can talk about me coming back. I didn't respond. Monday, I get home from work to find something interesting. All my cast iron pans are sitting on the front porch, the ones I've been seasoning for years. The ones that have never seen soap, just careful maintenance and layers of built-up seasoning. They were soaking in a bucket of soapy water. Completely stripped. Ruined. There was a note. These were contaminated with years of animal fat. I'm helping you start fresh. She still had her key. She'd come in while I was at work, taken my pans, and destroyed them. Those pans were older than our relationship. One was my grandmother's. I called her immediately. You came into my house and destroyed my property. I cleaned them. You should be thanking me. Do you know how disgusting it is that you've been cooking with rancid animal fat residue? Melody, that's called seasoning. It's how cast iron works. You've ruined them. They're better now. You can re-season them with coconut oil. I hung up. Then I did two things. 1, changed the locks myself. 2, started documenting everything. Tuesday, she showed up with her sister and a U-Haul. I met them at the door. I need to get my things, she said. Absolutely. I've already boxed up most of it. I'd spent Monday night packing her stuff, carefully, properly, everything labeled. But your sister stays outside, and I'm supervising. Excuse me? You entered my house without permission and destroyed my property. Your sister can help carry boxes from the door, but only you come in, and I'm watching the whole time. Her sister Harmony, yes, really, their parents were those types, started to argue, but I held up my phone. I'm recording this for both our protection. Melody, you can get your things, but given recent behavior, I need to protect my property. It took 2 hours. I helped carry boxes, kept things civil. But I watched every move. When she tried to go into the kitchen just to check, I blocked her path. Your stuff's not in there. I might have left something. You didn't. When they finally left, I thought that would be it. Girl got her stuff, I got my space back. We could both move on. Nope. Wednesday night, I'm grilling some chicken for meal prep, because yes, I still eat meat, and no, I'm not sorry, when I get a call from an unknown number. Is this the resident at my address? Who's asking? This is the city animal control. We received a complaint about animal neglect and possible hoarding at this address. What the actual hell? I don't have any animals, I said. Sir, we have a report of numerous animals being kept in unsanitary conditions. I literally don't have pets. No dogs, no cats, nothing. Someone's pranking you. We still need to investigate the complaint. Can we schedule a time to inspect? So that's happening Friday. Melody apparently decided if she couldn't force me to go vegan, she'd try to get me in trouble for, I don't even know what she told them. But here's where it gets really weird. Thursday, yesterday, I'm at work when my neighbor texts me. She's retired, home all day, keeps an eye on things. Mrs. Chen, there's a woman in your backyard? Should I call the police? I checked my security cam app. Yeah, I installed them after the pan incident. Sure enough, there's Melody, and she's doing something to my grill. I leave work immediately. Call the cops on the way. By the time I get there, she's gone, but my Weber is destroyed. She'd poured something, looked like concrete mix, all into the grill. The thing was completely ruined. My $800 grill that I'd saved up for, that I'd bought myself as a celebration for getting promoted last year. The cops took a report. I showed them the security footage. Clear as day. Melody climbing my fence, pouring stuff into my grill, taking photos of it, then leaving. You know this person? the officer asked. My ex-girlfriend. Recent breakup? Very. They said they'd follow up, get her side of the story. I'm not holding my breath, but at least there's a paper trail now. Last night, while I was researching grills to replace my murdered Weber, I got one more text from Melody. You can still fix this. Go vegan and I'll make everything right. I didn't respond, but I did order a new grill, a bigger one, and a smoker, and I signed up for a butchery class. Animal control comes tomorrow. I've already cleaned the house top to bottom, not that it was dirty, prepared documentation showing I have no pets, and asked Mrs. Chen to be available as a witness. I've also got a lawyer now, because apparently I need one. I'm done trying to be the nice guy about this. Update 2. The animal control visit went exactly as you'd expect. Officer showed up, looked around for maybe 5 minutes, shook his head, and apologized for wasting my time. So no animals at all? He asked, standing in my living room. Nope. Unless you count the steaks in my freezer. He actually laughed. You know, the complaint was very specific, said you had 15 dogs in cages in your basement. I don't even have a basement. This house is on a slab. Yeah, we figured it was probably false, but we have to check. Between you and me? The caller sounded intense. He left me with a case number and said they'd be marking this as a false report. Apparently, making false reports to animal control can result in fines. Good to know. Friday afternoon, I get served with papers, actual legal papers. Melody is suing me for illegal eviction and emotional distress. The amount she's asking for is insane, $50,000. For what? For changing the locks after she vandalized my property? For not converting to veganism? Her lawyer's letter was something else. According to them, I had created a hostile living environment through aggressive meat consumption, violated her rights as a tenant by changing the locks, caused severe emotional trauma by forcing her to witness animal consumption, damaged her belongings. Apparently, she's claiming the cast iron pans were hers. But here's the beautiful thing. My lawyer, remember I hired one after the grill incident, just laughed when he read it. She documented her voluntary departure via text, he said. She admitted to entering without permission and destroying your property. We have her on camera committing vandalism. And she never formally paid rent. Those $400 payments? No lease agreement means that was just her contributing to household expenses as a guest. So what do? We countersue. Vandalism, destruction of property, trespassing, harassment, and we file for a restraining order. While the legal stuff started moving, Melody kept escalating. Saturday, a bunch of vegan activists showed up at my house with signs. Meat is murder, and compassion over cruelty. And my personal favorite, animals deserve better than you. They set up on the sidewalk, public property, so legal, and just chanted. For hours. My neighbors were not pleased. Mrs. Chen came out around hour 2 and started spraying them with her hose accidentally while watering her lawn. They eventually left when it started raining. Sunday was quiet. Too quiet. I should have known something was coming. Monday I get to work and my boss calls me into his office. Someone had sent an anonymous email to our entire company directory. The subject line? Do you know what kind of monster works for you? The email was unhinged. It detailed my crimes against animals, complete with photos of meat in my fridge. When did she take those? Screenshots of my grocery receipts from when we shared expenses, and a manifesto about how people like me were destroying the planet. My boss, thankfully, is a reasonable guy. I'm guessing this is from the ex you mentioned? Yeah. The one you have security footage of destroying your grill? That's the one. Okay. Forward this to legal and HR. We'll handle it from our end, and maybe consider that restraining order sooner rather than later. The thing is, my company takes harassment seriously, like really seriously. Our legal team doesn't mess around. By end of day, they'd traced the email back to a coffee shop IP address and had already sent a cease and desist to Melody's last known addresses. Tuesday, the vegan protesters were back. But this time, I was ready. I'd invited my buddy Marcus over. Marcus runs a food truck, a barbecue food truck. He parked it, legally, with all proper permits, right in front of my house and started serving. Free brisket samples, he called out. Special promotion. The smell of smoking meat filled the entire street. The protesters tried to keep chanting, but half the neighborhood came out for free barbecue. Mrs. Chen brought potato salad. The family across the street contributed beer. It turned into a block party. The protesters lasted about an hour before giving up. Hard to maintain outrage when everyone around you is having a great time and the smell of authentic Texas barbecue is making your mouth water. That night, I got a call from Harmony, Melody's sister. "You need to stop this," she said without preamble. "Stop what? Living my life?" "She's spiraling. This isn't like her. She was fine before you." "Before I what? Refused to be controlled? Didn't immediately abandon my entire lifestyle because she demanded it?" "She's not eating. She's not sleeping. She's obsessed with saving you." "I don't need saving. I need her to leave me alone. Can't you just pretend? Tell her you're going vegan, get her to calm down, then figure it out later?" "Harmony, she destroyed my property. She's harassing me at work. She's sending protesters to my house. I'm not negotiating with terrorism." "Terrorism? That's dramatic." "Is it? She poured concrete in my grill. She ruined family heirlooms. She's trying to get me fired." Harmony sighed. "The concrete was my idea." "What?" "I mean, not concrete specifically, but I told her she needed to make a grand gesture. Show you how serious she was about this. I didn't think she'd actually... I thought she'd throw out your meat again or something." "Are you serious right now?" "I'm trying to help. She's my sister. She just wants to make the world better." "By force?" "By any means necessary. Animals are dying." I hung up. Then I called my lawyer and added Harmony to the list of people we needed restraining orders against. Wednesday? Yesterday was court day for the restraining order hearing. I showed up with my lawyer, a folder full of evidence, and a small hope this would all end. Melody showed up looking like she'd been living on green juice and rage. Her lawyer looked tired. The judge reviewed everything: the texts, the security footage, the destroyed property, the false reports to animal control, the harassment at work, the protesters at my house. "Miss Melody," the judge said after what felt like hours of testimony, "do you have anything to say for yourself?" Melody stood up. I thought she'd apologize, maybe show some remorse. "Nope. Your Honor, he eats meat. He consumes the flesh of innocent beings. He's a murderer, and the law protects him instead of his victims. I was trying to save lives. I was trying to save his soul. That's enough," the judge cut her off. "Mr. OP, I'm granting the restraining order. Miss Melody, you are to stay at least 500 feet away from the plaintiff, his home, and his place of work. You are not to contact him directly or indirectly. You are not to encourage others to contact or harass him. Any violation of this order will result in immediate arrest." Melody screamed. Actually screamed. "You're protecting a killer. You're all complicit. The blood is on your hands. The animals." The bailiff stepped forward. The judge threatened contempt. Her lawyer grabbed her arm and practically dragged her out. As we left the courthouse, my lawyer smiled. "That went well." "Did it?" She seems more unhinged than ever. "Oh, definitely. But it's all on record now. If she violates the order, she goes to jail. Period." Last night, I grilled myself a victory steak. Just one. A nice ribeye, medium rare, with some grilled asparagus on the side. I ate it in peace, in my house, without anyone trying to save my soul or liberate my dinner. This morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls from an unknown number. I didn't answer, but I did make bacon for breakfast. I'm hoping this is over. The restraining order is in place. Her lawsuit will almost certainly be thrown out. My countersuit is moving forward. Maybe now I can just live my life. But honestly, I doubt Melody's done. People like her, people who think they're saving the world, they don't stop just because a judge tells them to. So I'm keeping the security cameras rolling, I'm documenting everything, and I'm buying a bigger freezer, because if she wants a war, I'll give her one. A delicious, medium rare war. Final update. Well, it's over. Not with a bang, but with paperwork and consequences. 2 days after the restraining order was granted, Melody violated it. Of course she did. But not in the way I expected. She didn't come to my house. She didn't send protesters. Instead, she went to my workplace. Not to confront me. She waited until I was in a meeting and broke into the company parking garage. Then she slapped murderer stickers on every car in the lot. Not just mine, every single car, including the CEO's Tesla, including the security chief's truck, including the mayor's car. He was there for a lunch meeting. She got through about 50 cars before security caught her. The stickers weren't normal bumper stickers either. They were the industrial kind. The kind that don't come off without taking paint with them. I found out when my meeting ended and security pulled me aside to watch the footage. There she was, caught in 4K, methodically going from car to car with a roller and these massive stickers. She was wearing all black like some sort of vegan ninja, but forgot to cover her face. The security chief was furious. You know what it's gonna cost to fix all these cars? The CEO was less furious, more bemused. Is this the ex with the grill thing? Yeah. The one who sent that email about you being a monster? That's her. He actually laughed. Well, she's consistent. Melody was arrested on the spot. 50 counts of vandalism, 1 count of breaking and entering, 1 count of violating a restraining order. Because she'd hit government property, the mayor's car, it became a much bigger deal than she probably anticipated. I wasn't there for the arrest, but security showed me the footage later. She didn't go quietly. She gave a whole speech about animal liberation while being cuffed. Security looked deeply unimpressed. The story hit local news. Vegan activist arrested for vandalism spree at local tech company. They interviewed the mayor, who seemed more confused than anything. I drive an electric car, he said. I thought we were on the same side. The company sued her. The city sued her. Individual car owners sued her. I didn't have to do anything. She'd created her own avalanche of legal problems. But the real end came from an unexpected place. Remember how Melody worked as a graphic designer? Well, her company saw the news. They also received a copy of the unhinged email she'd sent to my entire office. They fired her for bringing the company into disrepute and exhibiting behavior incompatible with our values. Her sister Harmony called me one last time. She's lost everything, she said. Her job, her reputation, probably her freedom. Are you happy now? I didn't do this to her. She did this to herself. Over meat. This is all over your stupid steaks. No, I corrected. This is all over her inability to accept that other people make different choices. I never asked her to eat meat. I never judged her choices. And I just wanted to live my own life. There was a long pause. She's looking at jail time. I know. Real jail time. Like possibly years. I know. Can't you drop the charges? Tell them it was a misunderstanding? Harmony, I'm not pressing charges. The city is. The company is. The 50 people whose cars she destroyed are. This is way beyond me now. She hung up on me. The legal fallout was swift. Melody pled guilty to avoid a longer sentence. She got 18 months in jail, suspended to 6 months with good behavior, 3 years probation, mandatory counseling, $47,000 in restitution for the damaged cars, a permanent criminal record. The restraining order was extended to 5 years. My lawyer also won the countersuit by default when she didn't show up to court, being in jail and all. I was awarded $3,500 for the destroyed grill, pans, and legal fees. I'll never see that money, but it's the principle. Last I heard, after serving her time, Melody moved back in with her parents in another state. Harmony unfriended me on all social media, but not before posting a long rant about the injustice of it all. Apparently, I'm still the villain in their story. My life? It's peaceful now. I bought that new grill and the smoker. I'm taking that butchery class next month. The neighbors still talk about the great barbecue block party of 2024. Mrs. Chen brings me cookies sometimes and tells me I deserve better than that crazy girl. I've started dating again. My Tinder profile now includes omnivore in big letters. Just to be clear. Matched with a girl last week whose first message was, "Thank God you eat meat. Want to get Korean barbecue?" Yes, I do. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if I could have handled things differently. Maybe been more understanding when she first threw out my food. Maybe tried harder to find a compromise. But then I remember the concrete in my grill, the ruined cast iron, the attempt to destroy my career, the dozens of damaged cars. And I realize this was never about dietary choices. This was about control, about forcing someone to live by your rules through manipulation, destruction, and intimidation. I'm not proud of the barbecue party stunt. It was petty. But compared to everything that came after, it was nothing. To anyone dealing with a similar situation, document everything. Get a lawyer early. Don't negotiate with people who won't respect your boundaries. And never, ever let someone throw away your ribeyes. I'm keeping this account, but probably won't update again unless something major happens. Thanks to everyone who gave advice and support through this insanity. Time to go fire up the grill. I've got some lamb chops calling my name. She whispered to my best friend, he still doesn't suspect anything about us, at my birthday party. I said, wrong again. What happened when I played the recording to everyone made both of them leave town. I, 27 male, heard Valerie whisper those words to Corey at my own birthday party. 28 friends and family members in my backyard, fairy lights strung up everywhere, and these two thought they were being slick by the cooler. He still doesn't suspect anything about us. Wrong. I'd known for 3 weeks. See, Valerie forgot that our smart doorbell doesn't just record the front porch, it picks up audio from the driveway too. 3 weeks ago, she told me she was going to her sister's. The doorbell caught her telling Corey, I'll just say I'm at Becca's again, before they drove off in his car. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The party was actually beautiful. My mom spent hours decorating. Valerie played the perfect girlfriend, even gave a toast about how lucky she was to have me. Corey, my best friend since middle school, led everyone in happy birthday. Oscar-worthy performances, both of them. I waited until cake time. Everyone gathered around, phones out to record me blowing out the candles. That's when I stood up with my beer. Before I make a wish, I got something to share. I pulled out my phone. Val and Corey got me an early birthday present. Want to hear it? Valerie's face tightened. Babe, what are you doing? Just sharing the love. I hit play on my phone, connected to the Bluetooth speaker. Her voice clear as day. God, I'm getting tired of sneaking around. When are you going to tell him? Corey's response, after his birthday. I don't want to ruin it. You sure he doesn't know? Nah, he's clueless. Thinks I'm at the gym when I'm with you. I stopped it there. The backyard went cemetery quiet. That was from Tuesday, I said. Here's one from last week. Next recording, Valerie laughing. I can't believe we're doing this in his bed. Corey, he's at work till 6. We got time. Still, it's kinda hot though. You're twisted. You love it. Someone dropped a plastic cup. My Aunt Gloria whispered, oh my God. Valerie stepped forward. Derek, let me explain. Nah, I'm good. I turned to the crowd. Anyone else want to hear more? I got 3 weeks worth. My cousin Tony actually raised his hand. Play that shit. But Corey grabbed my phone, just snatched it right out of my hand. You're embarrassing yourself, bro. Am I? I pulled out my backup phone. Yeah, I had a backup. Good thing I uploaded everything to the cloud. Derek, stop. Valerie was using her teacher voice. She taught 4th grade, thought she could manage me like a kid. We should talk about this privately. Why? You didn't keep it private. You brought it into my house, my bed, my life. My mom stepped between us. Everyone should probably go. No, I said. They came for a show. Let's give them one. I hit play on the next file. This one was from my laptop. They didn't know I'd installed monitoring software after the doorbell incident. Corey's voice over video chat. I feel bad sometimes. About what? Valerie's voice. Derek, he's been good to me. Then why are you fucking his girlfriend? Because I've wanted you since high school. He knew that. And he still dated me. Dick move, honestly. So this is payback? This is me taking what should have been mine. My dad had to physically hold Corey back from grabbing the second phone. You recorded private conversations? Corey shouted. That's illegal. In my own house? Nope, one-party consent state, buddy. Look it up. Valerie was crying now. Not sad tears, angry ones. You've known for 3 weeks and didn't say anything? Wanted to see how far you'd go. Answer? Pretty damn far. This is entrapment. That's not what that word means, Val. You're thinking of consequences. The party dispersed fast after that. Some people tried to comfort me, others just wanted to escape the awkwardness. Corey attempted to approach me, but my brothers formed a wall. Valerie went inside to grab her purse. She came back out swinging it at my head. You ruined everything. I ducked. I ruined it? That's rich. We were going to tell you. When? After the wedding? Kids? When exactly were you planning to come clean? There wasn't supposed to be a wedding. She actually stomped her foot. Corey was going to convince you we weren't right for each other. By screwing you? Interesting strategy. Corey finally spoke up. You don't deserve her. Clearly not. I deserve better. You're such a victim, he spat. Poor Derek, always getting the short end. Bro, you're literally screwing my girlfriend and I'm playing victim? You took her when you knew I wanted her. She's not a Pokemon card, Corey. She chose to date me, just like she chose to cheat with you. Weird how she's got agency until it's convenient for you. My mom ushered the remaining guests out. Within an hour, it was just me, empty cups, and a half-eaten birthday cake. Update 1. The entitlement ramped up to 11. First, Valerie tried to come back to the house, not to apologize, to get her stuff. At 3 a.m., with a U-Haul and Corey and his brother. Like they were gonna rob me in stealth mode. My Ring doorbell, the irony, alerted me. I watched them trying to pick the lock for a good 5 minutes before I turned on the floodlights. Evening, folks. Little late for moving day. Valerie jumped. I need my things. At 3 a.m., with a lockpick set. It's my home too. It's my house. You pay no rent, no mortgage, no utilities. You're a guest who overstayed. I have tenant rights. You have Jack, but nice try. Corey stepped forward. Just let her get her stuff, man. Sure, during daylight, with a police escort, like normal people. We are normal people. Valerie screeched. Normal people don't bring a crew to break into houses at 3 a.m., Val. Corey's brother Darren tried to be intimidating. Look, we can do this easy or hard. I held up my phone. Streaming live to cloud storage. You really want to catch a B&E charge for some clothes and a flat iron? They left, but not before Valerie screamed that I'd pay for humiliating her. Corey peeled out so hard he left rubber on my driveway. The next morning, both their moms called me. That's right, they sent their mommies after me. Valerie's mom, Janet. Derek, honey, don't you think you overreacted? Your daughter was screwing my best friend in my bed. What's the appropriate reaction? But did you have to tell everyone? I didn't knock on doors. I shared it with people already at my party. You humiliated her. She humiliated herself. I just provided audio. She's had to call out of work. Sounds like a personal problem. The other teachers are gossiping. Again, personal problem. You need to tell people it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't though. Pretty clear understanding. Your daughter's a cheater. She hung up on me. Corey's mom, Diane, tried a different approach. Sweetheart, you and Corey have been friends forever. Had been, past tense. Don't throw away 15 years over a girl. He threw it away when he banged my girlfriend. Language, sorry, when he made passionate love to my girlfriend. Better? You boys need to work this out. Diane, your son filmed himself screwing my girlfriend in my house while eating my food, using my Netflix account. The disrespect is astronomical. He's very sorry. He's sorry he got caught. Maybe if you'd been a better boyfriend. I hung up. The audacity. Then came the social media posts. Oh, they thought they were clever. Valerie posted about toxic relationships and when someone violates your privacy. Corey went with fake friends who can't handle truth. I didn't respond, didn't need to. The birthday party guest did it for me. My cousin Tony commented on Valerie's post. Didn't you violate his bed though? My coworker Brad on Corey's. Truth? Like you were at the gym? The ratio was beautiful, but the real kicker came that afternoon. I got a letter from a lawyer. Valerie was demanding 3 months to find a new place while living in my house, $5,000 for emotional distress, a written apology for defamation, deletion of all recordings. I laughed so hard I cried. Then I called my own lawyer. Update 2, y'all. The entitlement escalated to galaxy brain levels. First, the legal stuff. My lawyer basically laughed at their demands, sent back a letter that essentially said lol no in legal speak, reminded them that she has no tenant rights, recording in my own home is legal, truth is a defense against defamation. Emotional distress? For getting caught cheating? GTFO. Their lawyer dropped them as clients, but that didn't stop the crazy train. Valerie's next move? She tried to get me fired. She called my boss claiming I was dangerous and had surveillance equipment to spy on women. Problem? My boss is a woman who's been cheated on, who was at the birthday party. Boss lady called me in. Derek, Valerie just called. Want to guess how that went? Not well for her? I told her that if she contacts this office again, I'll pursue harassment charges. Also, you're getting that promotion. Wait, what? Anyone who handles personal crisis with that much composure deserves to lead a team. Meanwhile, Corey was having his own meltdown. He started showing up at our mutual friends' houses, trying to explain his side. His side, according to my buddy Trevor. Derek was always jealous of me. He knew I loved Val but swooped in anyway. This was just the universe correcting itself. Trevor's response, the universe made you raw dog her in his bed? You don't understand cosmic justice. Bro, you sound unhinged. The best part? Qley started a GoFundMe. I shit you not. Help me rebuild after toxic friendship. Goal, $10,000. Reason, lost housing, emotional trauma, and unfair social persecution. Raised $3.50 from his mom. Someone screenshot it and sent it to me. The comments were brutal. Maybe don't bang your friend's girl. This the dude from the birthday party? LMAO. Oh, cosmic justice needs $10 apparently. He deleted it after 24 hours. Then came the extinction. Learned that term from you guys. They coordinated one last attempt. Showed up together at my job, in the parking lot, with flowers and an apology card. Security called me. Mr. Derek, there's a couple here says they need to apologize. They can apologize to the wind. I'm busy. They're refusing to leave. Then call the police. I watched from my office window as they argued with security. Valerie actually lay down on the ground at one point, like a toddler. Qley tried to film it, probably for sympathy posts. Cops showed up, gave them trespassing warnings. The whole office watched. Someone made popcorn. But here's where it gets really good. Remember how I said I had 3 weeks of evidence? Well, I'd been busy. See, when you know your girlfriend is cheating, you start noticing things, like how she's suddenly protective of her phone, how she has new underwear you've never seen, how she's working late, but her classroom lights are off. So I did some digging. Legal digging. Public records kind. Turns out, this wasn't Valerie's first rodeo. Found a post from her ex from 2 years ago warning about her cheating. Found another from a woman whose husband she'd pursued. Girl had a pattern. I made a simple website, nothing fancy, just a timeline. Public posts only. Her own words. Screenshots of her DMing married men. Her TikToks about following your heart no matter what. Called it Receipt Repository. Didn't use her last name. Didn't need to. Sent the link to exactly 3 people. Her principal, she'd been deeming the married PE teacher, Qley's ex-girlfriend who she'd sworn she barely knew, and the neighborhood Facebook group admin, where she'd posted about me being controlling while actively cheating. The dominoes fell fast. Final update. They're gone. Both of them. Let me explain how it went down. After the website went live, Valerie's principal called her in. Not for the cheating, for pursuing a married colleague. The PE teacher's wife also worked at the school. In administration. Awkward. They didn't fire her. But they made it clear she'd be under scrutiny. Every interaction monitored. No alone time with male staff. Basically made her job unbearable. She lasted 4 days before resigning. The neighborhood Facebook thing blew up differently. See, Valerie had been painting herself as a victim to anyone who'd listen. But the admin, bless you Linda, posted, "Interesting how stories change when evidence emerges." Attached was Valerie's post history, including one from the day after I found out while I was being calm, where she bragged about getting away with it, and men are so oblivious. The comments went nuclear. 3 separate women posted about her sliding into their husband's DMs. One had screenshots of Val calling her insecure for asking her to stop. Qley's situation imploded parallel to this. His ex-girlfriend, Marissa, sent me a message after getting the link. This explains so much. Turns out Valerie had been working on Qley while he was with Marissa. Convinced him Marissa was toxic and holding him back. Classic isolation tactics. Marissa put everything on blast. 3 years of messages. Valerie playing puppet master. Qley eating it up because he wanted to believe he was some cosmic victim. His friend group, already shaky after the party, completely severed ties. His gym bros found out I may have had Trevor accidentally let it slip during squat day. Dude got iced out of every social circle. The final straw came from an unexpected source. Valerie's sister, Becca. Remember her? The alibi? Becca messaged me, "I'm done covering for her. Check your email." Forwarded me years of messages. Every time Val used her as cover, every lie. Including some I didn't know about. Apparently she'd been shopping for my replacement for months, had a whole roster of backups. But the best message? From 2 weeks before my birthday. "Once I get Derek to propose, I'll lock it down and see who else is interested. Qley's already hooked, but I want options." I sent that one to Qley. Just that one. No comment needed. His response was unhinged. Showed up at my house at midnight, drunk, crying. Not angry, broken. She played me too? Yup, But she said she loved me. She says a lot of things. I threw away our friendship for nothing? You threw it away for pussy, Corey. Whether she meant it or not doesn't change that. He threw up in my bushes. I called him an Uber. Haven't heard from him since. Valerie tried one more play. Showed up with her dad. Her dad. This man tried to intimidate me into taking the website down. You're ruining my daughter's life. She ruined it herself. I just documented it. No man will want her now. Good men wouldn't want her anyway. She targets the married ones. I'll sue. For what? Posting her public social media? Good luck. He left defeated. Valerie was crying in the car. Real tears this time. Last I heard, Valerie moved back with her parents 2 hours away. Deleted all social media. Corey went to stay with his brother across the state. Also dark on socials. The house is peaceful now. I kept the birthday decorations up for a week just because I could. Ate the entire cake myself. Changed the locks, obviously. Got a new bed too. The old one had bad juju. My buddies threw me a re-birthday party last weekend. No speeches, no recordings, just beer, BBQ, and a cake that said congratulations on taking out the trash. My mom still asks if I'm okay. I am. Losing a girlfriend sucks. Losing a best friend sucks more. But keeping either would have been worse. The website's still up. Public service, really. Sometimes I get messages from women thanking me. Apparently Val had quite the reputation I didn't know about. Plot twist ending. Marissa, Corey's ex, reached out last week. We're grabbing coffee Tuesday. Not a date, just two people comparing notes on mutual disasters. She seems cool though. Funny how the universe actually works versus how Corey thought it did. Anyway, that's my story. Birthday party from hell, but I got the best gift possible. Freedom from two toxic people who deserved each other in the worst way. To anyone dealing with similar. Document everything. Stay calm. Let them hang themselves. The best revenge is just revealing the truth. Peace out. Edit. Since some asked, yes, the doorbell really does pick up driveway audio. Nest cameras are worth every penny. Also, to the person who DM'd asking if this is legal, check your local laws, but one-party consent states let you record in your own home. Knowledge is power, friends.